What is tax? Rabbit works at a carrot farm. Rabbit is paid leaves for work. At the end of the week, Rabbit earns 100 leaves. Rabbit is happy. I earned so many leaves. But actually, Rabbit only receives 80 leaves because government takes 20 leaves. This is tax. Tax is leaves Rabbit has to pay to government. Every rabbit pays tax in some form, whether they want to or not. You get some of my money. This isn't fair. Why do we pay taxes? Rabbit government needs leaves to run the forest. They use leaves collected from tax to fund services for every rabbit. Things like carrot houses, hospitals, schools, police rabbits, firefighter rabbits, army, libraries, garbage collection, public transport, even retirement. Rabbit government can collect taxes in many different ways because there are many different types of taxes. Types of tax: income tax. Rabbit government takes leaves straight from paycheck. Sales tax, extra leaf charged when rabbit buys carrots. Property tax: if rabbit buys carrot burrow, rabbit must pay government leaves. Capital gains tax: if rabbit sells carrot burrow for more leaves than paid, rabbit must pay government leaves. Corporate tax: big rabbit businesses also give percentage of leaves they earn. Inheritance tax: rabbit pays tax on leaves rabbit inherits. Environmental tax: rabbit corporations pay higher tax on items that hurt environment. Luxury tax: tax on expensive items for rabbits that can afford more than they need. Tariffs: tax on imported goods from other rabbit countries. Tax brackets: how much tax should rabbit pay? It depends on how much rabbit earns. The more rabbit earns, the more tax rabbit pays. These are called tax brackets. But rabbits make a very common mistake when looking at tax brackets. If rabbit makes 100,000 leaves, they are taxed 22%, or 22,000 leaves, right? Wrong. First 10,000 leaves, 0 tax. Next 40,000 leaves, 12% tax equals 4,800 leaves. Last 50,000 leaves, 22% tax equals 11,000 leaves. So rabbit's total tax would be 15,800 leaves, not 22,000. Rabbit only pays 22% tax on that higher bracket, not entire income. How is tax collected? If rabbit is an employee, rabbit government automatically deducts leaves from paycheck. But if rabbit owns a business, rabbit must tell rabbit government how many leaves they earned that year so they can tax them the right amount. Rabbits must prepare and file all this information into a tax return. First, rabbit needs to count how many leaves they made that year. Second, rabbit needs to find out how much tax already paid that year. Then finally, the most important step, deductions. These are any work-related expenses rabbit had to buy for their job. Deductions can be uniforms, tools, training courses, travel for business trips, or donations to charities. Then rabbit needs to send all this information to rabbit government. They'll look at how many leaves rabbit made, how much tax rabbit owes, and deduct any work-related expenses rabbit made. After all these calculations, they'll give rabbit the result. If rabbit has underpaid tax, rabbit will need to pay the rest. But if rabbit has overpaid tax, rabbit government will give them tax refund. Tax audit. If rabbit makes any suspicious deductions or has extra income they didn't tell rabbit government about, rabbit may get audited. A tax audit is rabbit government double checking rabbit's information. They usually only do this if something isn't adding up. Everything looks good here, nothing out of the ordinary. But doing taxes isn't easy, and sometimes rabbit just makes mistakes. What happens if you don't pay taxes? Nothing. Nothing at all. First it's a warning, then they'll charge interest, which means rabbit now owes even more. Then rabbit government will try to forcibly take rabbit's leaves. And finally, if rabbit still won't pay, rabbit government will take rabbit to prison.
Huh?
How rich rabbits avoid high taxes. Rich rabbits can do this in many ways. They can own stock, property, or collectibles, and when they sell it, it's taxed as capital gain. This is less than income tax. In fact, capital gains tax is only around half as much tax as rabbit pays working regular rabbit job. Rich rabbits also get tax breaks on investments. closing, hopefully rabbits now understand tax. If Rabbit wants to learn more about money, check out other videos. There are only 2 guarantees in life: death, taxes, and carrots. Rabbits now understand tax. Everyone is rabbit. Leaf is same leaf. Carrot is same carrot. This is not financial advice. Please do not sue Rabbit. And remember, rabbits together strong.